Ta-da! That should be better. Can you guys hear me now? Let me check my own stream. Can you guys hear it yet? You should be able to now. There we go. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Listen, first YouTube stream. It's a little bit different than streaming on Twitch, which is where I used to stream all the time, so. There he is, loud and clear. Okay, perfect. All right, how are we doing? Sorry about that, guys. What sucks is on YouTube, it's all about making your stream more like a video so that when people watch it back, you know, they'll be able to enjoy the content as well. So now everybody that watches this afterwards is going to see me struggling with audio for the first, 5 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. I love you too, Brathan. Is that how you say your name, Brathan? It's like Nathan with a BR. I'll take it. Yeah, thank you, man. Today we're going to be checking out the Burning Crusade Classic. They've released their anniversary edition. They released it about a month ago. I've played a ton of WoW Classic. It's probably my favorite MMO that I've ever played. It's just my favorite game. It's like my comfort game. I always go back to it. So today we're going to be jumping in, making a new character, and talking about the Burning Crusade Classic, because I actually missed the Burning Crusade. I missed the Burning Crusade when it first came out, 20 years ago. And then I missed the Burning Crusade during Classic. So now this is going to be my first chance to really play the game. I really want to make it to the end game. I want to get to the point where I can actually participate in some of the raids. I don't know how much of that is going to be on stream. I tend to use World of Warcraft as my not working game. But for a first stream and just getting used to YouTube streaming, I figured it'd be a good way to jump in, so. Yo, what's up, Vampire Bean? What is up, Dan Wesking? How are we doing? First time catching you live. First time being live in like a year, so sorry about that. But yeah. Little bit of technical issues, but we seem to have it all figured out now. So, I'm going to be starting, I think, a Paladin. Just because Ret Pallies in the Burning Crusade are apparently quite a lot better than they are in Classic. They got quite a few buffs, so I think that's what I'm going to be playing. I normally play Mage, but I'm kind of maged out. Like, I've played Mage in every iteration of Classic, so I feel like I want to try something different, so I'm going to go for Paladin, because I think I want to do a bit of tanking, which is something I don't normally do in MMOs. I know, like, the stereotype is to always be a tank for a lot of creators, but for me, I've always been a DPS guy. I like parsing, but... You gotta have the luscious locks when you're a Paladin. Gotta have that kind of golden retriever style, so. Yeah, I think that's the best one to go with. I never played the Burning Crusade, so I'm super excited to be able to play it. Yeah, the Burning Crusade, I think, is a great addition to Classic WoW. Wrath of the Lich King is like everyone's favorite. I don't know, I like Wrath, I think Wrath is great, but something about the Burning Crusade is really compelling to me, because all of the raids are still kind of inaccessible in a sense, because you have to go through a large process, and you have to complete the raids before them, before you can jump into the next one. So it still has a bit of that Classic WoW raiding style to it, whereas the Wrath of the Lich King was a lot more accessible. Which both have their pros and cons, but... Just tank as a mage. Couldn't you do that in, what was it called? Season of Discovery? Or I think mages were healing for a while on that one. That was pretty fun. I played Season of Discovery to level 25. I didn't get much farther than that, but it was a good time. Let's see if Paldot is taken. Nope, we're good. I'm playing on the non-PvP server. As you can see, I have some other characters on here. Before I was playing on, I'll show you guys, Night Slayer. But I don't feel like playing on a PvP server this time around. I've done the whole PvP server thing. It's a lot of fun. This was my mage that I was farming a bunch of gold on. I never actually got into any raid content with them, but I was just farming ZF and stuff like that. It was a good time. But I feel like I want to play on a normal server this time around. Especially because we're already a month into the Burning Crusade, so, you know. Everyone's already like level, whatever, 70. And there's also a character boost, so you can just buy a level 58 character. So in a PvP server, I feel like you're just automatically at a disadvantage. Plus, I just want to play a new character from the start. You know what I mean? This is one of the most iconic intros of all time. You could tank as a mage in vanilla with high fire resist gear and molten core. Yeah, they had a ton of different types of gear mattered way more in earlier versions of MMOs in general, but in World of Warcraft as well. So you could get certain resistances and things like that that would actually make other content unbalanced, or, you know, you could do things that weren't intended, which is always fun. Dream Scythe is where it's at. Yeah, I'm surprised that they only have 3 servers. I'm surprised that's what we're doing. I feel like they would have added more by now. I know they have tons of shards and all that, but let me make sure I got this all set up. What do you do? Profiles. There we go. Som chops. How do I set that up? Enable spec profiles? I can't. Oh, there we go. There we go. Paladin is safe, but the lowest leveling class in the game. Paladin is, yeah, they're pretty slow. I've never really played a Paladin. Could you make the game audio a bit louder? Yeah, sure. We'll try about there. If you want it a bit louder, let me know. Yeah, Paladins are known for being a slow class to start with, for sure. But, I mean, Retribution Paladin at endgame, the rotation picks up a little bit, you know? It's better than Mage. Mage is mostly just one button. Same with Warlocks. Yeah, I think they get more buttons to press in general. Dude, like, if you play, like, Phase 1 of Classic WoW and you do Mage, it's literally just Frostbolt. That's all you do. You could put your whole action bar as just Frostbolt, and you'll parse, like, you'll be top. Alright, I think everything's set up. The one thing I always forget to do every single time I log into Classic WoW is turn on auto loot. But this time, I remembered. We're good to go. In TBC, Paladins get Consecration base, not tied to talents. Then at level 50, they get Crusader Strike. Everything else stays the same. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, sometimes it's kind of nice to just play an easy class, okay? And listen, I come from RuneScape. And so click and wait is like, it's in my bones. It's in my blood. Frayed Bracers? What are they so scared of? Okay, that was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Mage is a water dispenser for the whole party. Yeah, that's the one thing about playing a mage. You have all these, like, responsibilities that everyone expects you to fulfill. So you always have to make portals for everyone. You have to bring the reagents to do so. It's the same with Warlock, by the way. They always have to have their stones, you know? So I want a class that doesn't have as many responsibilities, but to be fair, I'm playing a Paladin, so now I have to buff everyone. So every class has that, something they bring to the table in World of Warcraft. Maybe not rogues. I guess rogues wouldn't really have that. Warriors, I mean, they're tanking, so. Paladin equals RuneScape refugee. I mean, it's just click and wait, right? This is the old method that got popularized when Vanilla WoW first came out, where you would attack a mob and use this extremely broken meta of walking backwards towards the other mob that you want to fight. Because this technically saves you, you know, milliseconds of time. So you're going to level up faster by walking backwards while attacking. It's next level, I know. The strats here are insane. Big rear, my man. Level 2, let's go. But yeah, when I played Mage, last expansion, I guess it would have been within these anniversary servers, I never got into raiding much. I did a lot of raiding in the original Classic WoW when that came out, but last expansion on anniversary, I just kind of farmed gold. I got my epic mount. I ended up buying like 2 other people in my guild their epic mounts as well, because I was making so much money from running people through Zul'Farrak and Maraudon, which was a lot of fun. It was fun having that much money, but then I burned out really quickly because of it, so. And then I ended up just not raiding. I think we did like 1 Molten Core when the raids came out, and that was that. But I think the leveling is a little bit faster in Burning Crusade. I know it picks up a lot more in Wrath of the Lich King regarding like levels 0 to 60, but I think in Burning Crusade it picks up a little bit, so it shouldn't be quite as slow. I think it's like, it's not much faster, but I know a lot of the quest mobs, they go from elite to normal, so you can solo a lot of the old elite quests, which that helps. As a paladin, I can solo it anyway, usually, but my mage was the highest level, so I figured I would level her up so I could get through the portal, but sometimes I regret it. Yeah, I feel like in World of Warcraft, I really struggle with the endgame. It doesn't matter if it's retail World of Warcraft or vanilla or any version of it. I always prefer the leveling process much more. I prefer exploring the world and leveling more than I ever really enjoy endgame. And that's why I struggle with retail, because like you can get to the max level in like 6 hours, maybe less. It's been a while since I've played retail, so. Why Paladin? I don't know. Class fantasy? It's just a class I've never really played before. I've played a lot of warriors. I've played a lot of rogues. I've played a lot of mages. So I just wanted something a little bit more chill. Something nice and easy. I still don't know if I want to do healing. I would like to try healing at some point on a Paladin, because I feel like they're kind of the unorthodox healer that you never expect. I've done priest healing. I haven't done druid healing. But Paladin healing, that one's always kind of like unexpected, a little out of left field. Max level in 6 hours? Yeah, I think on retail it's something like that. You can probably do it faster, to be honest, if you like speedrun it, but... There's another YouTuber I know of called TheoryWise, who I'm sure you guys have seen before in the MMO space, and they recently played through the retail version of World of Warcraft, and they made a tweet that went viral the other day about how fast it is, about how ridiculously fast-paced the leveling process is, to the point that TheoryWise thinks that maybe the leveling shouldn't even exist in retail, which I don't know if I would go that far, but... The last time I played retail was in Shadowlands. I played, what did I play? It might have been a Shadow Priest, actually. And I got to the max level, and I did some Torghast, and I did the Maw. I was running around doing quests in that area. I did not really enjoy myself. The gameplay loop really quickly turned into something that was just really formulaic in a sense. I had no adventure to it. I was just kind of, I don't know. I played it for about 2 weeks, but I haven't touched retail since, and I've heard they've made a lot of good changes. So.
Need help? Go with honor, friend.
I'm gonna grab this, we'll pick up this, go kill the workers. I guess we should go talk to my trainer first. Vertical progression is not for the faint of heart. There's like vertical progression, of course. Most MMOs exist in a vertical progression space, but retail World of Warcraft is a little different. It's like your max level so fast. You don't even fully understand your class and all their abilities before your max level. I'm rolling a Paladin for the first time too on TBC, and I'm sold, but it takes off at 32 apparently. Yeah, Paladins are slow for the first little while. There's a few classes that are pretty slow to start with. Rogue is pretty slow as well. When you start Rogue and you don't have cheap shot or anything, like if you're going combat Rogue, you're pretty much just like normal attacking and sinister striking until level 20. But yeah, the Burning Crusade. You know, I have memories of this expansion watching my dad play, because my dad played a lot of World of Warcraft when I was younger. I remember him doing Gruul's Lair. My dad was a druid healer, so he was the tree. The one spec turns into a tree. Very faint memories. I was probably like 7 years old or something, but... I did do a bit of the Wrath of the Lich King expansion on stream about 3 years ago now. I was a full-time RuneScape creator at the time. But I wanted to play a bit of World of Warcraft on stream because I just love the game. So we had a group doing Wrath of the Lich King. I think we got to around level 30. Just kind of fell through. We didn't make it to endgame. The group I was playing with kind of, you know, just stopped. But that's how it goes sometimes. I feel like with World of Warcraft, you either play for 2 weeks or you play for 6 months and you stick it out for the long run. There's like no in between. I'm hoping to take this character to 70. It would be really cool to go and experience all that the Burning Crusade has to offer. I think the best part about World of Warcraft Classic for me is, well, the leveling process. But once you actually get to the end game, how much there is to work towards that feels like actual real progression, especially in Classic and in the Burning Crusade. Because like I said, you have to do all these prerequisites to even get into some of the raids. And something about that, you have to work your way through the world in a really linear way that I just, it feels more real to me. I don't think they changed the old world too much in the Burning Crusade. In Wrath, some of the quests change around, but in the Burning Crusade, I think it's pretty much the same as Classic. Got to get my chat lined up so I can see what you guys are saying right away. It is strange switching from Twitch streaming to YouTube streaming. It's a whole different setup, so we had a bit of technical issues at the beginning of the stream, but I think everything is working now. If you guys have any issues with lag or any of the audio, just let me know so I can fix it immediately, but it should be good. I'm planning on doing streams about once a week, once every 2 weeks on the Way channel, just because I feel like it's a way for me to actually chat with some of you guys. It's very difficult as a variety creator to really create a community on YouTube, because I'm switching games with every video. So streams can add a bit of continuity to my content, I feel like. And plus, I'm a bit of an extrovert, and I like streaming. I like talking to people, so it's actually the content I prefer to do the most. More quests and about 15% less XP per level in Vanilla World in the Burning Crusade. Gotcha. 15% less. I thought it was a little bit more than that. I hope you'll stream it so I can watch you get to max level. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the streams do. There's a chance that if my streams ever do well enough, I could be streaming a lot more. But right now, we're just in the testing phase, if you will. So I was going to multi-stream today. I wanted to check that out. But to be honest, it was just a little, like, it's not that complicated, but I overcomplicate things in my head, especially when it comes to streaming. So I wanted, just for the first stream back, to just pick one platform. And then maybe in the future, I'll multi-stream. I probably will. It feels like a missed opportunity. I love your videos. I've watched all of them. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been really enjoying content recently. I've put out some more content that has more of my face in it, and I'm giving more of my general opinion, which it's been a lot of fun. I get way more comments and way more engagement with that kind of thing, and it actually feels like I'm participating in a bigger conversation instead of just my reviews, which are, you know, the reviews are great. I love reviewing old games. I love reviewing games I've even played a couple of years ago and just seeing all the updates that have come out, but it's a very impersonal type of content. It doesn't get, it's not very opinion-based. Like, I'll give my opinions, but I'm mostly just trying to give a fair representation of the game, and so what that does is it doesn't create much room for actual engagement, which is something I do want to take my channel in a bit of a different direction with that. So Alliance is pretty... I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, so I'm not going to, but I disagree. I've been Alliance since I was a young child, okay? Alliance are cool. They're the good guys. At least that's how I used to view it. I always wanted to play the hero, okay? And also, I just hated the Horde questing when I was a kid. Like, I would try and make different Horde characters, and I just hated the Barons so much. I love Westfall. I love Dead Mines. And Horde don't get to participate in Dead Mines, which is like the best dungeon to ever exist, okay? Last time around when I played Classic, I did play as an undead mage. And I still hate the Barons. I still hate leveling as Horde, but you're just there for so long. Like, you go there at, like, what, level 11? And you're basically there to, like, level 25. I mean, you leave and go do some quests in other areas. Might go to South Shore or Thousand Needles and stuff, but, like, you're stuck in the Barons for so long. I think if you go back and listen to some of the developers talk about when they were actually creating the game, basically the Eastern Kingdoms was fully created and fully mapped out, and Kalimdor was like a work in progress when the game released. And it makes sense. If you look at the landscape of Kalimdor, it's just like empty and mountains, and there's not much to it, but the Eastern Kingdoms is definitely a lot more fleshed out. Yo, Mr. Shuffle with the $1. Thank you very much, man. Or is that £1? The symbol on the actual chat overlay that I have looks kind of strange, but thank you, man. I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know if they planned on releasing at a later date, why they didn't finish the western side of the map, but that's the lore anyway. It could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Paladin is challenging. I mean, look at this. I have to, like, target them and click on them. This is not the easiest thing I've ever done, okay? And plus, if I end up playing this enough, like to the point that I might actually consider playing this into Wrath of the Lich King, it would be nice to have a Paladin that's already leveled. So, Paladins and Wrath of the Lich King are just ridiculous. They're super overpowered, so. Do you still play with your dad on other games? Yeah, I game with my dad quite frequently. Depends what he's into at the time. Right now, he watched my recent video on EverQuest. And so he's just been playing Project 1999 and other versions of EverQuest again, because that was like his version of World of Warcraft when he was younger and he played MMOs a lot more frequently. EverQuest was to him what World of Warcraft is to me. But I tried to get him back on Classic and playing with me a bit. We'll see if he does. He also plays, like, mobile game. Like, my dad's a very, varied gamer. He'll play, like, Raid Shadow Legends, like, unironically. So he's always playing something. Whenever we're playing the same game, we go pretty hard, but...
Well met. Go with honor.
Dude, I know these quests like the back of my hand. I'm pretty sure I could do the Northshire, like, starting quests with my eyes closed. Like, I could blindfold myself and probably get to level 6. You know, just fine. I've done this a million times throughout my life. And it doesn't really get old. You know, it's interesting. When you look at, like, single-player RPGs, you look at something like The Witcher 3. It has a ton of replayability. I'll go back and play The Witcher 3 from time to time. But there is no game that I go back and play quite as much as I've gone back and played World of Warcraft. Aren't I missing a quest? Is Questy messing me up here? Isn't there a quest to get the grapes or whatever? Does she not give that quest in Burning Crusade? Am I losing my mind? But yeah, I feel like just because the game is so simple, like Classic WoW is just the most simple RPG in terms of the leveling process and the world. It's beautiful for what it is, but it's very simple. It doesn't take much brain power, you know? And so that adds to a level of replayability. It's almost like you're not replaying it, you're just relaxing in it again, if that makes sense. My dad's a gamer too, and he played Winds of Valen after I showed him your video. That's awesome. I need to jump back in. They just added fishing, and I believe potion making, alchemy. I'm not 100% sure. I get notifications from their Discord, but yeah, once they add a few more skills to the game, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of Winds of Valen. I think there's a ton of potential there. It's just like a one-guy team, or he might have a few people working with him, but him and his wife run the Discord, and they're super nice. They were really gracious about my video, which ended up bringing a lot of unexpected traffic to their game, which of course, you know, they were appreciative of that, but I think he had to wake up and something like at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and he had to add new servers, and it was a whole thing. So I hope I didn't bother them too much with the video. I mean, of course you want your game to be successful, but when you randomly get, you know, an extra 150 players that you weren't expecting on a game that isn't necessarily expecting 150 players or doesn't have the capacity to handle that at the time, you know, it can be a little overwhelming, but I think they were pretty happy with it afterwards. And now the game's popping off. It seems to be doing still pretty good, so. Good catching you. Good luck leveling. Gotta hop back into heroics. Nice, dude. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, like I said, once I get more comfortable with streaming again, I'm gonna be doing this about once a week, if not more, which I'm excited for. I'm excited to get back into it. I've basically been like a silent, how do you say it? I feel like I've been very silent on YouTube. I used to be, for those of you who don't know, when I made RuneScape content, I would stream every day. So I was constantly in tune with my audience. We had a whole clan with over 500 people. It was very involved. But since switching to general MMO and variety MMO content, I've kind of missed out on that actual viewer interaction that is really a lot of fun, so. Yeah, I'm somehow missing the quest to get those barrels of grapes. I don't know if that was my questie isn't showing it. So maybe it doesn't exist in Burning Crusade. I'm sure it does, though, so I don't know what's going on. It doesn't really matter, but... yeah, the nice thing about streaming on YouTube is you get much higher quality in terms of your actual stream. Your bitrate can be higher. In this new area that I moved into, I have amazing internet compared to what I used to have. I have like 2 gigabytes up and down in this new place, so that's pretty awesome. Back in the day, I used to stream with like 50 megs up, which was not good for streaming. Because for streaming, it's all about your upload rate. Typical warlock, huh? No, it's okay. My girlfriend's been playing Classic WoW. My fiance, I should say. I always call her my girlfriend. I should say my fiance. She's been playing some Classic WoW. I finally got her into it. And, she feels so bad, you know, if she accidentally steals someone's kill, or, you know, she's been training some herblore, and so if she's running up to a plant on the ground and someone else is like even close to it, she'll literally type in game and be like, hey, were you gonna get this peace bloom that was on the ground here? And like usually the person doesn't even reply, and then she takes it, but I'm just like, you have no idea. When I play Classic WoW, I'm stealing every mob. I'm stealing every resource. Like it's a dog-eat-dog world. I don't care at all, but she's so like considerate of other players. She's not much of a gamer, so. She treats other players like they're people or something. It's ridiculous. I could never. Yo, how's it going, Caffey? How we doing? Congratulations. Yeah, thank you. I mean, we've been engaged for a little over a year now. I'll get on. I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it.
Hey there. See you around.
We'll take the hammer. Thank you, Deputy Willem. Oh, now you get it. Interesting. I swear back in the day, you used to be able to do those quests at the same time, but maybe I'm losing my mind. Yeah, and if I do multi-stream to Twitch, it's like the second I go live on Twitch, I'm going live to like 6,000 followers that are all there from back when I did RuneScape, so I don't know if I want to send out a notification to like 6,000 people who don't really watch anymore, you know? But I'll probably try it at some point. Yeah, I saw Josh Strife Hayes has been playing Classic WoW recently. He's had some interesting takes because he's genuinely basically a brand new player to Classic WoW. He said he played World of Warcraft once a long time ago, and I think he was talking about retail. But he's like genuinely a new World of Warcraft player, so it's been interesting watching him go through Classic WoW. He has a lot of takes about the game that I generally agree with, but they're getting him a ton of heat online for some reason. Also, a ton of people are really mad that he's using Questy. They've been saying that it takes away from the original experience, which I couldn't disagree more. We're talking about a 20-year-old game. Is there really too much of an original experience to be had? A 20-year-old game that's been like massively solved, and it's really simple in nature, so I don't know why people are mad at him for that, but I've never seen somebody get mad at another person for using Questy. It's such a typical or normalized add-on to use. So. Oh, can you not, bro? Questy? Oh, sorry. Questy is this. As you can see here, I have these quests on the side of my my user interface here, and if you look at my mini map, you can actually see it's just basically a quest add-on that shows you where your quest objectives are and tells you what to do. Other games have it built in. Most games have it built directly into the game, but for some reason, Josh Strife Hayes has recently tried World of Warcraft, and the viewers have been getting very angry with him for using Questy, which I find very strange. Dude, you seem like such a nice guy. Stop mentioning or using clips of Asmongold in your videos. No, I will not be stopping mentioning or using Asmongold because you have a particular opinion of somebody. That doesn't mean that everybody else does. So no, I will not be doing that. Thank you, though. Thank you for the input. Appreciate it. Is Questy the equivalent to Quest Helper in old school RuneScape? Not quite. Just because quests in old school RuneScape are a much different experience. Quests in old school RuneScape are part of the charm. They have a lot more mechanics to them, in a sense. You know, you'll never just go kill 10 wolves in RuneScape. So it's a little bit of a different scenario. Like, for example, a lot of first-time players, people will advise them not to use too much of the quest helper in RuneScape. And I think that's fair when you're talking about RuneScape, but I don't think it's fair in terms of World of Warcraft, where most of the quests are just like, you know, gather 10 grapes. It's not like really taking away from the experience. There's certain quests in World of Warcraft that they're more involved and they have more story to them for sure, but I want to use rested XP, but I don't want to pay for rested XP. Yeah, so Rested XP is the add-on that where it gives you like the best like way to level. Like it gives you the fastest way to do all the quests, right? I think there's a free version of it. I don't think you have to pay for it. I think there's another one that's free. It might not be as good, but yeah. If you press V on your keyboard, you can see the health bars above enemies' heads. Yeah, very true. Good point. I usually actually just look up here, but you're right. It is better to have the nameplates. Rest XP is free up to level 20. That's how they get you, right? So you're going to level really fast all the way to level 20. And, you know, by the time you're so used to using Rested XP at level 20, you're way too invested at that point. No, I think I've used Rested XP before. Or I think I used the free version of it, and it's definitely super handy to have. Even using something like Rested XP, I don't think really takes away from the experience in terms of classic WoW. We're just talking about... the questing in the game is just so lukewarm, you know, typical MMO sort of questing. And that doesn't mean it's bad. I actually enjoy the questing in classic WoW because it's just part of the process. It's pretty standard, but I don't think it really takes away from the experience if you're using Rested XP or Questy or any of these add-ons, which just make it more efficient, right? But I'm a Final Fantasy 14 player. I don't know much about WoW. The last time I was streaming was Final Fantasy 14, which I was doing over on Twitch. I still have never played enough of Final Fantasy 14 for what I feel like is enough to have a credible opinion in the MMO space. Like, my problem with Final Fantasy 14 is I feel like you have to put like 500 hours in before you can even begin to have an opinion. Like, I basically finished the first expansion, which is A Realm Reborn, which was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. But it was a lot of cutscenes. You know, like, a lot of waiting around. The combat wasn't super engaging. But I feel like I'm not even in the right position to have that opinion because I haven't been to the end game. I haven't been through the other expansions, so. But that's just as my first, I think I put like 60 hours into the game, something like that. My first 60 hours, you know, I don't know.
Safe travels.
Asmongold is incredibly based. I'm glad to use him in videos. I don't think he's based or not based. He's a massive voice in the MMO space and has been for years. And I mean, if I use a clip of someone in my videos, does that mean I endorse everything they've ever said? It's just such a strange criticism to come into my streams and have. But I mean, people are going to think what people are going to think. Also, and like, if he's talking about the most recent video, there is a very specific reason why I used Asmongold's clip. And it's because of a specific video that he had watched on YouTube that I can't even find anymore. I'm not even sure if the original video still exists. But it's where the guy says TBC hype. Dude, I saw that video like 6 years ago and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I had to use it. I needed that audio clip. It was essential to that video's success. Okay? That's why max level in 6 hours sounds crazy to me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, in retail, I think it's even faster than 6 hours. It could be. What server are you on? I'm on the... what's it called? Dream Scythe, I believe it's called. On the non-PvP server. Oh, I gotta train my skills. Give me my skills. Hopefully I have enough. I should.
King's honor, friend. Light bless you.
All right, off to Goldshire. Let's go roleplay. I don't know why my second action bar is bound to F keys. That might be from my old keyboard. On this new keyboard, I have the Razer, like the really big Razer keyboard, which I've been enjoying. I like the keyboard, but the F keys are really out of the way, so I don't know why I would use those.
Hey there. See you later.
See you later. Dude, there's nothing better than your first stroll into Elwyn Forest on your way to Goldshire. Nothing quite compares to the nostalgia I get. And like, I know World of Warcraft has these blocky, choppy graphics, but like they don't age to me. Like I go back and play something like EverQuest or even EverQuest 2 or even looking at like Lord of the Rings Online, like those games look so old to me. And Lord of the Rings Online is like way more recent. But World of Warcraft Classic just doesn't even look dated to me. It still doesn't. I saw you were playing Star Wars Galaxies the other day, planning on doing a video on it. Yeah, I'm about, I want to say 30 hours into Star Wars Galaxies. I'm playing on the Legends private server, I think it's called. It's okay so far. I feel like Star Wars Galaxies is such a tough game because everyone, and I mean everybody in the MMO space, has such respect for this this older game. And maybe it's gonna eventually click, but I'm still in the point where I don't know, I'm just doing like the legacy quest line, and a lot of the gameplay is very monotonous and it's very repetitive. Maybe that changes, we'll see. But so far I'm kind of like eh, but I got another 70 hours to go, so we'll see.
Safe travels.
Let's set this as my home.
Only the finest goods.
But yeah, my next long form video on the channel should be the 100 hours in Star Wars Galaxies. I always try and find the silver lining, even if I'm not necessarily really enjoying the game I'm playing, which tends to be the case with a lot of the really old MMOs, the ones that become tedious, so. And I mean, Star Wars Galaxies is old. Let's not get it twisted. But it is enjoyable. There are some parts of it that I'm really enjoying. The combat is actually not that bad. I'm actually surprisingly enjoying the combat. Compared to a lot of older games, it feels a lot more real time. And it's quicker. Like, the time to kill most enemies is a little bit faster than a lot of older MMOs, which I enjoy, but... One sec. So do you stream on Twitch as well? Where should we expect to see you again? Yeah, like I said, would like to multi-stream. And the thing is, like, with YouTube streaming, the stream really needs to be able to exist on its own. So it has to have a sort of idea. There needs to be a whole plan. It's not like the kind of chill streaming that you're going to find on Twitch. So if I ever do, you know, more laid back kind of, and I just want to have a really chill stream, then it's probably going to be over on Twitch. But like I said, right now, just kind of trying to find my foot again when it comes to streaming. Ashes of Creation stream when? Does that game still exist? Is it still playable? How much longer can we expect Ashes of Creation to still be playable? I'll be completely honest, I've kind of lost what's going on with all the drama with Ashes of Creation. Like, I was staying up to date with it at first, but now it's gotten so, like, convoluted, and there's, like, 500 different videos about it. It's like, I just don't even have any idea what's going on. I saw Nephis made a video where he talked to one of the investors, and there's lawsuits, and it's a whole thing, so... Yeah, I mean, I personally, once it gets to that level of drama, if you will, within the MMO space, like once it starts getting into the real world stuff where it's like legal court cases and accusations and stuff like that. Like, I'm interested in it. Don't get me wrong. I love to read about it and hear about it. But in terms of my content, I'm much more concerned with like the actual MMO behind the scenes. And as far as I can tell, Ashes is just basically cooked. Like, there's no coming back. I'd love to be wrong. I heard there might be something going on with the developers. They might be trying to figure something out, but... I mean, it's tough. It sounds like there's literally hundreds of millions of dollars caught up in, like, legal minutia, so... Oh, TBC hype comes from a Zamis series called Level 58 Boosters. Huh. Okay. Good to know. Thank you. I've wanted to use that. Oh, shit. Not the gold tooth. I've wanted to use that specific soundbite in other videos before, and I could never find it, so that's actually good to know. Thank you. I'm actually surprised how busy the TBC servers still are, like even in the lower level areas. Especially with the boost they add to the game, like you can quite literally just buy a level 58 character, but it seems like all the starting areas are still pretty packed, which is awesome. As long as the starting area of an MMO is still thriving, you know, it generally just feels better to play that game. It adds a bit of like a layer of social security to the game. It's like, oh, other people are playing this, and they're not just playing it, they're creating new characters. Nice, huge loot. I mean, obviously, Classic WoW, any new release of Classic WoW is going to be massively popular. I really want to know, is WoW still the most popular MMO? Because, like, old school RuneScape's getting up there right now in terms of player numbers. You would probably have to combine Classic and retail numbers for it to be fair, but then, to also be fair, you'd combine old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3. But World of Warcraft doesn't release their numbers anymore, so it's tough to say. It's so busy, I can't even find these guys to complete the quest. Oh, we should go pick up these quests while we're at it, too. Yeah, people will shit on Alliance, but Elwyn Forest, bro? You gonna talk shit about Elwyn Forest? This is like one of the best MMO zones to possibly ever exist. It's up there with pre-searing Ascalon from Guild Wars for me.
Have a good one.
Now, the real question is, which one is better? I would say Elwyn Forest, personally, but I'm biased. Plus, with all the old, like, WoW machinimas they used to make, tons of them were just in, like, the starting area of Elwyn Forest, you know? So it has that extra bit of nostalgia to it. Hey, wait, have you heard about Monsters and Memories? If so, what's your opinion so far? Promising? Yeah, I've heard a lot about Monsters and Memories. I'm actually pretty excited for it. In my last video, I talked about how I don't like games where you're forced to group, you know, to get from like level 5 to level 8, which is definitely the case in Monsters and Memories. However, you have to understand that this is a game that's trying to be a callback to EverQuest. It's a spiritual successor of the original EverQuest, so I understand it. I'm going to give it a shot, like a real honest, fair shake. I'm going to try my best. But it is going to be tough. You need a group for basically everything in that game. And a lot of these new MMOs that are coming out that say they're a callback to the classics, or they say they're, you know, a modern twist on old school gaming when it comes to MMOs, I'm not sure they're hitting the mark. I'm not sure they're quite understanding what people even mean when they say they want a classic MMO.
Greetings. Light bless you.
With all that being said, I'm going to play it a bunch, make a video on it, and yeah. I've gained a bit of an appreciation for that old school difficulty. I started watching this EverQuest creator on YouTube who made like this 12-hour long EverQuest movie in Project 1999, and it's made me kind of appreciate that older style of gameplay. So we'll see. I'll try it out. How much time do you need to get up to level 58 in Classic WoW in this version, the Burning Crusade? I don't know, probably 3 days in-game time, maybe. Something like that. 72 hours, maybe. Maybe faster, maybe slower, depending on what you're doing. Like on a mage, 24 hours. But any other class, a little bit slower. Can't please everyone, that's very true. Yeah, and I don't think a game like Monsters and Memories is trying to please everyone, so that's actually a good point. You know, I don't think it's a game that's necessarily made for me. However, I'm going to play it and appreciate it for what it is and try and put myself in the shoes of someone who it's actually made for. Who was the EverQuest creator that did the 12-hour movie? I couldn't actually tell you the name. I can't remember the name right now. It just came up on my feed. And like I literally fell asleep to it. Like I watched the first 3 hours and then I listened to the other 6 while I was sleeping, and then I had to rewind it. Like it was one of those videos. It felt like an old school YouTube kind of playthrough that you might watch. It was pretty good. It wasn't like super heavily edited or anything crazy. It was just a good 12-hour long EverQuest movie. And it was great. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the guy. He wasn't a massive creator, maybe 10 or 20k subs, but it was good. Bro, I'm getting shafted on the gold dust. Thank you.
Inventory is full.
Ion Blaze Gaming, 13-hour video, it looks like. Sound familiar? Probably. I don't remember the name. That sounds about right, though. I don't think there's too many other people making 13-hour long EverQuest videos, you know what I mean? This isn't RuneScape, okay? Thanks, by the way. Appreciate your content. You got me back in the RuneScape days. Nice. An OG. Appreciate it, Keith. Dude, RuneScape 3 is looking really good lately. I'm not gonna lie. Ever since Mod North came back in, RuneScape 3 has been looking... It's kind of crazy, though. Because, like, I was advocating for so many of the things that are happening in RuneScape 3 now. Like, 3 years ago. And the entire community was completely flaming me and telling me I'm the worst person ever and I have the worst ideas. And now all those things are actually getting added to the game and the player count's going up. And listen, I'm not saying 3 years later I feel vindicated and I need to tell you I told you so, but I'm a little vindicated. Just a little. Dude, especially the wilderness events. Okay. For anybody who doesn't know, RuneScape 3 years ago, added something called wilderness events. They are basically a daily that happens every single hour. And not all of them are like mandatory in terms of playing efficiently, but some of them are. And if you're a new player, they all are. So every single hour, your gameplay is interrupted for anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. Okay, get it? When those came out, I said it was a bad thing. I said this isn't good for the game. It ties the real-life clock into the game, so you're constantly checking what time it is to see if the wilderness event is coming up. It just sucks. It wasn't good gameplay. And plus, the rewards were way too overpowered. So I said back then, guys, I don't think this is a good change. Everybody, from developers to other creators to just other players, told me I was wrong. What was it, 2 weeks ago? They got rid of wilderness events. In the news post, it was like they, word for word, cut my stream and just cited the exact reasons why I said wilderness events were a bad idea. So yeah, it turns out I do hold a grudge for 3 years, and I am vindicated. RuneScape 3 told you. It's not an MMO, but do you plan on playing Crimson Desert? Absolutely. I'm going to be playing the heck out of Crimson Desert. In fact, that's one we're probably going to be playing on stream on YouTube. That will be a definite one we could try out on stream, like the moment it comes out. I'll probably be streaming that. It looks amazing. For those of you who don't know, the creators of BDO, Black Desert Online, were originally going to create another MMO, which was going to be called Crimson Desert, but they decided to transition away from the MMO stance probably about like 4 years ago. And so now it's just a single-player RPG, Crimson Desert. It's an open world, beautiful-looking game from everything I've seen so far. So I'm really excited to give it a try. I think it comes out in May? Or is it March? Does it come out this month? I should probably know that. It's coming out soon. It kind of fits into my recent criticisms of MMOs, or games that pretty much are MMOs, moving away from that term because it's not good for marketing. However, I have to give Crimson Desert the leeway. They were the first ones to do that. Like, they said Crimson Desert wasn't going to be an MMO like 4 years ago. So that's fine in my books. I'm back to old school RuneScape now. I tried RuneScape 3 because of your series and had a good time with it. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people came back to the game or tried the game for the first time because of my series. And I think a lot of those same people, when I kind of stopped playing RuneScape 3, they quit with me. I've gotten so many messages over the years of people being like, yeah, you were right. I didn't like when they did this, or I didn't like when they did that. But now, with Mod North, the new CEO of Jagex, I have high hopes for RuneScape 3 moving forward. I'll probably never create content for it in the same way that I used to, but I might play a bit of RuneScape 3 on the side if they keep making these good changes. So.
I don't have a target.
Black Desert was kind of a failure, I feel like, so it's smart they pivoted. I feel like Black Desert was a failure that was only brought on to the game by themselves. A little bit too over-monetized, a little bit too overproduced in the sense that it's just a little overly complex, almost for no good reason. You know, just take a look at the user interface. You have like 75 different menus that all serve different functions. Underneath it, there's a pretty good game there. They have amazing combat. The game looks really good. The life skilling system is awesome. And so, yeah, I think Crimson Desert kind of moving away from that MMO label is going to allow them to simplify what they did so well with BDO and get rid of a lot of the fluff. That's my hope, anyway. That's what I would love to see, but...
I can't carry anymore.
Bro, I need 1 gold dust. Like, come on. The scale felt too big in Black Desert. I think a little bit because of the lack of fast travel, which they just added, you know, when I reviewed the game, I think a couple of months before my review came out, which would have been in 2024. So they've only had fast travel, really, for like 2 years, and the rest of the time you just had to auto-run everywhere. So that definitely added a bit to that like feeling of size, which can be a good thing. But in a game like BDO, I don't know how well it worked, you know? Like, they took so many of the typical Eastern-made MMO kind of shortcuts in the sense that, and just gameplay loops in general, where it's going to be super grind-heavy and the story didn't matter too much and you're focused on just different types of gameplay. But for some reason with fast travel, they were like, no, let's not. Which I'm okay with. I don't automatically need fast travel in a game. In fact, I think it ruins a lot of games. But in BDO, it was strange because it felt like a game that should have it. And even now, it's not a legitimate fast travel system. It's still very... you still have to go out of your way to use it. You can't just pull up your map and teleport everywhere, so... But I mean, BDO at this point basically exists for life skillers, the people who enjoy the skilling system, and then PvPers. But I think the PvP is even becoming pretty niche. Nothing has given me the same spark that Terra did. It's a shame that the only way to play it right now is some questionable private servers. Yeah, I remember. When did that, like, really shut down? Because I think that was quite recently, wasn't it? To be fair, a lot of games you can only play on private servers, and some are questionable, but I would say most private servers are usually decent. It's usually just like a passion project that's made by genuine fans of the game. There are some niche scenarios where that's not the case, obviously.
Need
but
something? Safe travels.
And the more popular the game, generally the more issues you're going to run into. But
Need help? Be careful.
I want to try out some of these World of Warcraft private servers. I've heard there's some crazy ones. You can like mix and match entire classes, entire specs. You can be like a mage but take paladin skills, and
See you later. Have a good one.
that sounds fun to play for a couple days. Not saying I would stick with it, but I'd like to try it.
Might be with you.
Summer of 22 is when it shut down. Gotcha. Yeah, I thought it wasn't that long ago.
Go with honor, friend.
All right, we're almost level 7. We will be level 7 right here. I don't think I even trained my level 6 skills, so let's go grab those. Glad you're not streaming on Twitch. I can rewind and watch what I missed without having to solve a... Yeah, dude. You can go back and watch me struggling to turn my audio on for 10 minutes. Basically what happened is I had my audio track... Like when you stream on Twitch, you can separate your audio tracks, and so I had those separated for different reasons so that my music that I would use on stream wouldn't come through. And because of that, when I started my stream, my audio was not there, but that's okay. Depends on the game with private servers. Old school private servers equals gambling. Yeah, old school private servers, you want to be careful. That's why I said the more popular games tend to have some more sketchy private servers, because they have a better chance of, you know,
Well met.
bait and switching some of the people
Go with honor, friend.
who might be looking for private servers. They have a bigger audience to pull from, so. Not having fast travel honestly wasn't terrible. It felt bad at times, but it helped you explore. I think games that don't have fast travel can be fantastic. I love games that force you to sort of learn the world that you're in. And I don't mean like not having a map. But when you don't have fast travel available, you're going to constantly be seeing the same places. Places are going to become familiar to you. You're going to slowly start to understand the world around you. And then things become like landmarks. Like this giant tree in the middle of this lake. Okay, that means I'm beside Goldshire. And it just feels like so much more of a actual lived-in world. But with fast travel, you just teleport everywhere. You know, I don't even love the travel in old school RuneScape. Even though all of it is earned, everyone's just teleporting everywhere. It feels like a little bit overkill at times, but at the same time, I understand you don't want to make the same run over and over again, time and time again. It gets a little old. There's a good argument for both, and there's probably a balance that you can find, but dude, are all these Murlocs taken? Final Fantasy XI private servers were pretty fun. I do need to try Final Fantasy XI. That's another very group-heavy game. It's not for the faint of heart if you plan on playing solo, is my understanding, but oh my god, bro, can you not? What is this? Oh, I'm so cooked. I'm so cooked. Someone must have died. Where did they come from? Can I get a heal off? Do I have potions? Okay, we're good. Where'd they? Okay, there. What even happened? Thank God this wasn't hardcore. I do want to make a hardcore character again. Hardcore is really fun. But depends. The retail version is very much like Star Wars The Old Republic now. Gotcha, okay. But for Final Fantasy XI, if I was going to do a video on Final Fantasy XI, I feel like everyone would expect me to play on the private servers, right? Aren't the private servers more populated than the actual retail version? I could always try both and compare and contrast as well. Dude, nothing like Murlocs, bro. Are Murlocs the most iconic mob in all of MMO history? I'm trying to think. Like, is there any other MMO mob that has more history, more memes, more cultural relevance than a Murloc? Maybe goblins in old school RuneScape? That might be a close second. There's like one popular retail server, but the main private server had like 2K players? Gotcha. Fast travel is a cheap way of not implementing traversal abilities into the game. It can be. Yeah, it definitely is. I think fast travel is just a convenience that's pushed too far. It's a you think you do but you don't scenario, and it's a result of developers listening to players who think that they want something, but once it's actually played out, and once it's put to action, it turns out they don't want it. And it's something that it's hard for people to voice as like a main criticism of a game. Like if you quit playing retail World of Warcraft, you would never voice fast travel or mounts as the reason. It's more of a background, sort of subconscious thing that just happens while you're playing that just slowly makes the world lose relevance, and it leads to that feeling of kind of like boredom and monotony that you wouldn't even notice otherwise. Yeah, the Murloc sound, dude. The Murloc sound is I mean, it's beautiful. It manifests fear into the hearts of thousands of players, especially after hardcore. Yeah, dude, Tibia is crazy. Tibia is probably one of the most popular old MMOs out there. The game is popping off on Twitch. It's a 2D, like, click to move game from the 90s, and it is popping off. I guess they have a huge Spanish-speaking population. I think it's Spanish. Last time I looked into it, But dude, Tibia is massive. Like, people don't understand how popular Tibia is. Hell yeah, streaming on YouTube now. Will it be consistent? I mean, listen, I don't like labels, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna be trying to stream quite a bit more. YouTube streaming is just something I want to dip my toes into. I'm not 100% sure how long YouTube streaming is going to stick around, but I do plan on streaming on Twitch and YouTube a lot more. I would like to do YouTube streams like once a week if possible, and then Twitch streaming, which is a little bit more chill, maybe a couple more times a week. We'll see. I've still got a 7-month-old at home as well as my other son, so things are busy around here, but I'll try my best to stream when I can. Mainly Brazilians and Polish people playing Tibia. Gotcha. Yeah, dude, because I did my video. It's, you know, I tried a bunch of 2D MMOs. That video got a ton of flack. The problem with trying a massive amount of games in one video is you don't have a lot of time to try each game. So I only played each game for like an hour just to get the initial first impression. And that pissed off a lot of people who are fans of those games. So I might not do that video in the same way ever again, but the Tibia players in particular were pretty annoyed with me, and so I went to go look into the Tibia community, and dude, it's massive. There's streamers playing Tibia right now with thousands of people watching them. It's super cool to see, honestly. It's cool that they have such a huge community for such an old game. I'll probably never fully understand it. Like, I tried to play Tibia, and it's just a little too old for me. Like, imagine trying to show old school RuneScape to like a Zoomer. That's kind of what I feel like with me trying Tibia. You know, they'll be like, why does this not look like Fortnite? You know, where's the loot boxes? And when I was playing Tibia, that's what I felt like. So. I never heard of Tibia. Yeah, it's a very old game. It has like Game Boy 8-bit graphics. It's super charming. Huge player base. Probably a great game underneath it, but it's just tough for me to get into it. I meant consistently on YouTube, not streaming in general. Gotcha. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not going to set anything in stone just yet, but I'm having a great time streaming today. Hoping to stream more on the YouTube channel. Think it could be a lot of fun. So as long as I have good ideas for streams and stuff to do, then yeah, I do plan on streaming more.
See you later. Have a good one.
I think video games are going out of fashion, to be honest. Culturally, we've consumed them to death. I don't think you're completely wrong. I don't know if it's video games are going out of fashion, but I think the type of video games that people are playing are definitely constantly changing. But I mean, there's still so many people who work all week and they wait all week to finally get to the weekend so they can sit down and play games, whether that's with their family. Like if you look at World of Warcraft, there's like people playing with their kids now, or with their friends, you know, hopping on even the normies, going and playing some Call of Duty. I don't think gaming is going away anytime soon, but I think it is, you are right, it's losing a little bit of its cultural relevance because it's not such a new phenomenon anymore. It's a little bit losing its novelty. I mean, they've been around forever, but I feel like the online gaming live service sort of games, that's still new for a lot of people. And now that novelty is finally fading away. Everyone gets it. You know, there's 60-year-old grandmas playing RuneScape on Twitch or whatever. It's kind of culturally fully ingrained at this point. But I don't know if they'll ever fully die, at least not within our sort of generations. We'll see what happens with AI and virtual reality, though. That's going to completely change the gaming space. If you can just, you know, type in a prompt, I want you to make this game exactly like this, and then everyone's playing like their own AI-created video games. Like, who knows? But I mean, even take a look at Hytale. They have tools within Hytale where users can create their own content. You can basically create mini games or create your own, kind of like Roblox, I think. I don't know much about Roblox, but it's a lot of user-generated content. And I think we're kind of on that edge. We're on the very, like, last little bit before it ends up becoming AI-generated content that people are just going to be playing. I try not to be automatically anti AI. I feel like that's kind of the mindset for a lot of people right now. Like, they hear the word AI and it's immediately a boogeyman in any form of like art or creative endeavor. And trust me, as a YouTuber, like, it's coming from my job, right? But I don't think it necessarily needs to be the boogeyman every single time. I think that it's happening either way. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's like, you're going to learn to live with it or not. Like, I'm sure people like calligraphy, people who practiced a lot of calligraphy, calligraphists prior to the printing press were probably pretty pissed that the printing press was coming out. But it's like, what are you going to do about it, you know? What am I doing? I thought I had to go over here and bring someone a potion. I'm losing my mind. That's okay. We'll grab these boar meats while we're here.
It's too far away.
MMOs are more and more rare because it costs too much and take too much time to make. I think, though, like, if we take a look at the Crimson Desert situation, that would have been called an MMO 5 years ago. They might have taken out some of the MMO elements, and they might be calling it just a single-player RPG. But it's still probably going to be like a live service game. They probably have some multiplayer elements once the game actually comes out. And it's just that people and companies are turning away from the label MMO. It's kind of become a marketing dead end, I think. We saw that with Dune Awakening, originally released as an MMO. And then, no, we're just a multiplayer survival game. We saw it with Arcade Chronicles, originally going to be an MMO. It was originally going to be Arcade 3. Or 2. But now it's Arcade Chronicles, so... I always get Arcade and Lineage mixed up. That's why I thought Arcade 3. I think it would have been Arcade 2. But anyway, they changed their name to Arcade Chronicles to signify they're going away from the MMO naming and genre. Windrose, yeah, another one. Actually, I think their demo came out literally today.
How are you? See you around.
One of the best survival games I've played yet. Genuinely a super fun game. There we go. Like, I'm actually excited for Windrose. I liked the name Crosswind. Thought that was good. But it's a fun game. Video game industry in general is not doing so good. Yeah, especially in the Western side of things. I mean, Highguard. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen such a catastrophic failure in such a short amount of time for a game that was so overhyped. Holy, that was bad. And I played it a little bit. I don't actually think it was that bad of a game. Really? But I don't know who it was made for. And I used to play like a lot of Apex Legends. They were saying it's going to be like Apex Legends. I don't think it was like Apex at all. They were saying, oh yeah, the guns are going to be like Apex. No, they weren't. The guns in Apex were 10 times better in like every way, shape, and form.
See you later.
The wingman from Apex Legends? Are you kidding me? But anyway, I digress. We're far from implementing it, but imagine a game where that game story actually changes because of how you interacted with the AI. Like imagine you make peace with the Murlocs instead of slaying them. Okay, never mind. If the AI is going to make me make peace with Murlocs, I quit. But no, that's what it's going to be. Like in however many years, probably not that many, we're going to get to a point where you just go to like gamemaker.com, which I think is a website for game dev. But anyway, I think you go to something like that. You're going to type in a prompt. You're going to be like, make it like World of Warcraft Classic from 2004, except make this change and this change. And it's going to be a completely customized, completely personalized gaming experience. You can add your own other players. You could be like, you know, create an online world where every other player is extremely nice to me and they give me all their stuff and they procedurally level up with me as I level throughout the world, and I can join groups with them and make them social and make them this way, and it's gonna be weird. Like I feel like we always used to think about like virtual reality and how cool that was gonna be, but nobody was thinking the AI component of virtual reality. Nobody was realizing how insane that's gonna be. We are absolutely cooked. I have 2 young children, and I'm like, how am I going to explain this to them? How am I going to handle this as a parent? We're in for a weird future. It is fascinating, though. You're right. Indie MMOs is where it's at. Honestly, so many hidden gems. Absolutely. Indie MMOs, and then older MMOs that have a declining or stagnant player base. You'll find a lot of hidden gems in those games. You know, like a Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online, Star Wars The Old Republic, Star Wars Galaxies. And then for the indie MMOs, I just did Winds of Valen, which looks like it's going to be an awesome game. Look for those games that have smaller teams, where they don't have to go through the entire AAA bureaucracy. Is that a word? You know, when you need like 300 people to make a single decision. Look for the smaller teams. They seem to have a little bit more heart, and they can change things on the fly, and they can take bigger risks.
I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging.
Old ones feel too outdated to me. Yeah. That is the problem. You're going to have to deal with that sort of tediousness, right? Have you looked into Pantheon at all? I played Pantheon a little bit. About a year ago, I want to say. Didn't love the game. But I've heard there's been like some recent changes. They're changing some things around. And it seems like a lot of people are hyped about it again, which is cool to see. But I don't know. I have to go back and check it out again. They had like a ton of drama with their development team, I thought. I should be able to take him. Ah. As long as I can get him down, I don't really care if I die. I should be able to live. Oh, my inventory's full. Hello. We're good, we're good, we're good. I don't even have my Blessing and Might up. Forgot I even had it. Maybe just because I didn't play those types of games. I'm millennial. I can't get into old games. I think that's part of it, dude. Absolutely. If you don't have that nostalgia sort of element to get you through the rougher parts of the game, it could totally be difficult. Like, I completely understand and empathize with that. I think older MMOs, they do a lot of things better, but you got to be aware that they do tons of things worse as well. I think the things that older MMOs often do better can outweigh the things that they do worse, and they're less glaring. The issues are less glaring and less long-term than if you take a look at more modern MMOs, some of the issues that they might have with their constant pursuit of convenience and you know, entire ideology where they just want to remove any friction with the game in any way, shape, and form. But older MMOs, like, some of the stuff sucks, right? Even right now, I'm playing through Star Wars Galaxies, and it's like, okay, I've basically done this same quest 30 to 45 times in a row. Because it's like, go to this bunker, kill 10 of these mobs. Go to this other bunker that looks exactly the same and kill 10 more of these mobs that basically look exactly the same. It's a very repetitive experience. A lot of the places look the same. There's only so many assets they had in the game, so there's some parts that are worse. That's why I actually think, like, Classic WoW is kind of the perfect middle ground between older MMOs and newer ones. I think it's right in the sweet spot, and it's why it was so successful. Some people say Classic WoW is a little too easy, it's a little too player friendly, which I get, but especially if you came from, like, EverQuest. Ooh. Have you seen Scars of Honor? No, not yet. I heard about it, but I haven't seen anything about it yet. Yo, Rank Tool, what is up, dude? Longtime channel member, appreciate it. Just a little bit of shilling. You guys can like the stream if you've been enjoying the stream, and I think it's only $1 or $2 to become a member. That's always cool. All right, shilling over. I'm not good at shilling for myself. I always feel weird doing that. Dude, every time you enter into a tavern in World of Warcraft, some of the best music in gaming. Taverns in World of Warcraft, taverns in ESO. Lord of the Rings Online actually has some decent taverns. I've downloaded all those OSTs. I use them in my videos from time to time. It's beautiful music. Yeah, I don't know why I ran back to town. I'm a little bit scatterbrained. But we'll go turn in Goldtooth over here. We'll be good to go. We're level 8 too. I got a train. Damn it. Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online has one of the best tavern songs of all time. It's called The Red Diamond, I think. That's what the guy sings. There's an instrumental's called something else, but it's really good. I was lucky enough to go to the Elder Scrolls 10-year anniversary event in Amsterdam.
Hey there.
And they played that song live there. They had, like, somebody playing all the music from the game. It was
See
awesome.
you around.
All right, nice. We take those. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm actually really loving the story for an MMO. That's crazy to me. Yeah, I don't play games for the story. Maybe that's why Final Fantasy XIV didn't really click for me, unfortunately. I tried so hard to love it. And I watched all the cutscenes, like, I paid attention. And to be fair, I only got through A Realm Reborn. I did not make it into that next expansion. I don't know. And what's crazy is, like, I'm a big Final Fantasy guy. Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite stories in all of gaming. But Final Fantasy XIV just didn't click for me. I think in MMOs in particular, I'm just more interested in systems and gameplay and like loot. You know what I mean? A good story is a bonus, but it's not for me. That's for a different kind of player, I think. Yeah, OSRS has nice quests that get you involved into the story, because a quest is like a 2-hour long thing. Like, you might quest for 2 hours, but then you'll go skill for like 4 hours. And so you can kind of jump in and out of the story just as much as you want. Whereas with Final Fantasy XIV, I feel like you kind of just have to just do the story. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're doing. You're working on the story. Sure, there's other stuff you can do, but you're generally working on the story. If I wanted a story, I wouldn't play an MMO. I think MMOs can have good stories, and I think a lot of people like the stories in MMOs. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not for me. It's just made for a different type of player. But, alright folks, I think I am going to call it for my first YouTube stream. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who are here today. Whoa, Rank Tool with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. If you guys got gifted a membership by Rank Tool, make sure to say thank you. But I did just want to say, first foray back into streaming, always a fun time streaming, so I'm happy to be back. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching and hanging out with me today. And I'll probably do another stream next week. I don't know if it's going to be World of Warcraft. I really, if you want me to be honest, I just chose a game that I could basically play in the background while I made sure streaming was okay. And I got back into streaming a little bit. It is a bit of a skill, streaming, constantly talking and trying to be entertaining. But I had a great time chatting with you guys today. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and